So welcome back to Next Gen Dev. In this video, we are diving deep into the loops of Golang. What are loops? So in each programming languages, loops allow you to execute multiple or a particular block of code multiple times. What I mean by that is if you want to perform a task 10 times or 100 times, you could use a loop that would do that for you. Or else you have to write those lines of code 100 times or 10 times. That would be a bit inconvenient. That's why the developer made loops. In each programming language, there are roughly two types of loop, that is for loop and while loop. But in Golang, they decided to create only a single loop, that is for loop. In Golang, we don't have any while loop because the developers of Golang thought that for loop performs similar function as while loop, so there is no need of creating a separate while loop in this language. So whenever we start writing a loop, there are roughly three conditions. Okay, so whenever we start writing a loop, first we need to use the keyword for. So for keyword stands when you want to start a loop. So that's the keyword for a loop. After that, the first thing is initializer. So initializer basically allows you to initialize from which point you want to start a loop. For example, if you want to start from the 0 to 5 or 10 to 20, so whatever your starting point of the loop is, you have to specify it here. After that, you need to put a semicolon. Yes, you have to put a semicolon in a loop. Then the second thing is the condition, that after each iteration, it will check whether that condition has been satisfied or not. And if that condition has been satisfied, then you could skip the loop or you could return something. It's up to you. And the third thing is how you would like to increment your loop. So for example, if I want to print numbers from 1 to 10, then I would start from 1, then 1 plus 1, 2. Then I would increment each number by 1 times. Or if I want to skip two numbers, then I would increment each number by 2 times. So it would be 1, then 1 plus 2, then it would be 3, then 5, then 7, and so on. So you got the point. So increment. So these are the three steps whenever you write a loop. After that, you need to open a curly braces, and whatever code you write inside these curly braces will be executed multiple times. So let's do this. Yeah, this is a basic snippet for writing a for loop or any basic loop. All these parameters which I have provided here are basically optional. Just the condition is a mandatory parameter because you need to provide for what condition this loop will run. And also initializer you can skip for while loop. So let me show you. Like if you want to create a while loop in Golang, you need to use for only. So the basic code for a while loop is like while some condition and then the code. So this is the basic format of a while loop, but in Golang we don't have any while loop, we have for loop. So how to implement this functionality using for loop? So let me show you that. So for we need condition. See, in while loop we only need condition. So we have a condition in the second block. So what we could do is we could for just condition and just open the braces and your code. See, so you could implement the functionality of a while loop by just using for loop. That's why the developer of Golang thought we don't need any extra keyword for a particular loop. We could use for creating that. So that's why they didn't create any extra loop for it. So let's write some code in order to explore how these loop works. So let us print hello world for like 50 times. So for that, what I would like to do is I would like to create an initializer from when we can start so that we could iterate 50 times. So generally, we start our counting from 0 because it's much easier. From 0, then 1, 2, 3, that would be much easier. You could also do 50 as an initializer and the endpoint would be 100. It's up to you. But yeah, starting from 0 is more convenient and intuitive. So the first step is an initializer. So whenever we initialize a variable, how we do it? We write the variable name, then we write a colon and equal to sign to specify it's a variable and initialize it with some value. So let us start with 0. Then, as I told you, we need a semicolon. So let's add that. Second is the condition. So as we have told you, we have to print hello world 50 times. So we need to go from 0, then 1, 2, 3 till 50. So as we are starting from 0, so it would be from 0 to 50, it would be 51 times. So we need to only go to 49 times. When it will reach the 50th time, it would terminate the loop. So let's write that condition as well. So I should be less than 50. And the third thing is an increment. So how would you like to increment if you want to reach from 0 to 50 and you want to print everything? That's right, by incrementing it by 1. So I plus equal 1. This is a shorthand of writing. Wait, let me show you how this works. So it's I is equal to I plus 1, or the similar thing can be written as I plus equal 1. These both means the same thing. So let's create a curly braces as I've told you here. Now inside this we can print hello world or print your name, whatever you like. So as I've told you, to print anything we need that fmt package. Let's import that dot print, and yeah, let's use println so that it could be printed in a new line. Hello world. See. It's that easy to use loops in Golang. So let's now run this program. Go run and loops.go. Yeah, to fill up my terminal because it's a lot. As you can see, it has been printed 50 times. I won't count because I trust Golang. You should also trust them. So see, this is how you could write a basic code in for loop using for loop in Golang. Now the second thing is how to write while loops. So as I've told you, we need a condition and a code that we want to print. So for condition, what I could do is I could create a variable, let's say j, and assign it to 0, and I would check while j is greater than, no, j is less than 5. Yeah, let's do that. So till the time j is less than 5, print small, empty dot println small. And when it's greater than or it reaches 5, it would terminate that loop. So right now what will happen? Oh, sorry, it's not while. What am I doing? I was confused a bit. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so what will happen here? It will start a loop. It would see, okay, j is 0 now, and it's less than 5. So this condition satisfied. It will go to this line. It will come back again. It will go to this line. So it will keep on doing it. What's wrong with this code? Just tell me what's wrong with this code. Take a few seconds, just think about it. What's wrong with this code? Then come back. Okay, so the thing which is wrong with this code is it does not increment j. So what will happen is j will always be less than 5. Okay, so it would be running for infinite amount of time. I don't want to execute it, but for the sake of execution, let's do it for once. Let's see what happens. What worst could happen? Let's see. Okay, so I've executed this program and it's still running. It's running. It's running. It won't stop. And my terminal is gone. I can't do anything now. Let us just exit it. Yeah. So as you can see here, as we haven't provided any incrementation for j, it will always stay less than 5. This is called infinite loop. In infinite loop, you don't have any endpoint. It will keep going until that, it will keep going, nothing will stop it until the timeout happens of your system or the system dies, anything can happen. So this is how you create a while loop in this. Just add j++ so that every time you could do is increment it. Now what is this j++ stands for? So again, it is a shorthand of incrementing this. So I would also write it here. All these three things means the same. It's like either you can use this or this or this. It's up to you. So now let us execute this. Yeah, and as you can see, it has been executed 5 times and then terminated. So this is how a loop works. Whenever a loop starts, it checks the initializer and then it goes to the condition. Okay, so every condition, it first checks whether that condition satisfy or not. If this condition doesn't satisfy, it doesn't go to this line. It just breaks it and jumps to directly to the 10th line. If this condition satisfied, then it goes to the loop. After it completes whatever inside the code, then it increments this. So it doesn't jump from condition to increment. It goes from condition to code, then to increment. I guess you got that point how it works. And initializer only works at the first time. So okay, let me give you a flow how this works. So it would be like this way. So first it would be initializer, then only once. Then what would happen? It will go to condition, then it would go to code, then it would go to increment. And these three things will loop till the time condition has been satisfied. I guess you got that point. So this is how any loop work in any programming languages. Now, the third way of writing loop is a range loop. So range loop is quite similar to a for loop. It has a similar syntax for. It also starts with for. It just range to that particular time of any value or any collection. So what I mean by that is, let us create an array first. So as I've told you in the last video, how to create an array. So the first thing is the size of array. As you know, array is of fixed size. Then the third parameter is whatever you want to initialize it with. That is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basic thing. And if you want to iterate through this loop, what you could do is you could use that earlier loop as well, this loop. So let us do that first, then we'll switch to range loop. So let's do that. So for I, yeah, I guess I want you to write this code, pause this video, write this code, then come back to it. So let's I is equal from, it will start from the 0. Then the second parameter is the condition. So till when we can access an element in an array. So in the last video, I told you if the element, if the index is out of bounds or it's greater than the size of an array, it will throw an error. So we need to keep our size or this variable less than the size of an array. And how to calculate the size of an array? So to calculate the size of array, you could do is you could use a len keyword. And Golang, we have a len keyword that gives you the length of any collection. So yeah, so this is how you could get that length. So let's do that. So I should be less than length of array. And the third is the increment thing. So we could increment it by one because we want to access each and every element. So what we could do is fmt dot println, and we could print array of that index. So as I've told you, if you want to access an element from an array, you use this keyword. This is the array, and this is the index which you want to access. So this is the this is using the old traditional for loop. Now let's use a range for loop for the similar task. So the range for loop provides you with two things. So it has two parameter. Let me just create a comment here. Yeah. So it has an initial, no, it has index, sorry, index, and the second thing is a value. It gives you two things. It gives you the index and it gives you the value of that thing. And the third keyword, or yeah, the third keyword is the range. The range is a keyword that basically iterates through that collection, each element of that collection. And whatever the data structure that you want to use, here we are using array. So array, and then again this. So this is the standard way of writing range for loop. Let us do that for the above example. I would like you to attempt it, then see my code. So for index and value of range, sorry, range, yeah, range, as you can see, it's a keyword, and if you would hover over it, okay, it's not showing right now. Again, you need to specify a range of array. So this range keyword will iterate over this array, and it will return two things. So it would return an index and it would return a value. So we could print them. So fmt dot println index, or we could, yeah, we could use printf, so we can print both the thing in the same line. Let's do that. ARR percentile v equal value. So for that, I will percentile v. Yeah. So as you can see, I've used two percentile v here. So whatever I will pass now as a parameter will go to this percentile v, and the third parameter will go to this percentile v. So the first would be the index, and second would be the value. Also, I want it to be printed in new line. So backslash n. See, this is how you could iterate through each and every element of a loop. Let's execute this program. I would like to comment out these as well. The for loop, yeah, this. So I'll give you the code and the notes in the description. Don't worry about that. Did I? Yeah, it's here. Okay. So let's execute this. As you can see here, we have array, the index, and its value. So the zeroth index is the this one. The first index is this. The second is this. As I've told you, the indexing starts from zero. So what if you want only value, not the index? So like if I want to only print the value, what will happen? Let's see. As you can see, wait, I need to just remove this. Yeah. So as you can see, it is giving me an error. Even if I compile this, it will give me an error that I have declared index here, but I am not using it. So yeah, that's a problem in Golang. So in order to ignore this thing, or if I want to ignore, okay, I don't need index, what you could do is you could write a this whatever you call a dash or an underscore, it's up to you. You could, if you write an underscore, then that particular value will be ignored. So as I've told you, range returns two things. It returns an index, then it returns a value. So but if you want only one thing among it, what you could do is you could write an underscore, then Golang will know, okay, we are ignoring that value, that means we don't need it. Let's run now. Yeah, I guess I haven't saved that, sorry. See, all the values have been printed, there is no error. So you learned a new thing again. So if you want to ignore, then use underscore. Yeah, if you want to ignore anything, just use underscore. It will tell the compiler, okay, we are ignoring this index, we don't need it, we only need value, and we are looping through it. So again, that's all in the loops. We have covered three types of loop. All of them have their own uniqueness, own ways of creating it. As you can see, with the help of for loop, we have just created three different loops. You don't need separate keyword for a while loop. So that's great. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.